Hello everyone, welcome to Drishti CUET and welcome to your GAT General Science courses. So today we are here with another part of your biology, or you can say another part of your general science, that is biology part 2. Already we have covered all the physics and chemistry important topics related to your GAT General Science. Now in today's session, like in biology only, in the previous section we have learned about the human body, right? We have learned about various human body systems like respiratory, endocrine, circulatory, all the important cell tissues, everything we have covered in that previous section. Right now, today we are going to cover the major topics, like from where directly you will get a questions, that is your ecosystem, right? So under the ecosystem you should know about the trophic levels, you should know about like what do you mean by environment and all. So these are the things, food chain, food web, we are going to cover in this particular ecosystem. Again, like in the microorganism in human welfare, this is going to be a very important topic, because nowadays related to microbes, whether they are causing disease or whether they are helpful for our life, right? They, in the exam you will get questions from both the part. So here in microorganism in human welfare, we are going to discuss how these microbes help us in our day-to-day life. Again, the disease caused by an organism, which means that how these microbes causes a disease and what are the particular diseases. Directly you will get a question from there. Again, vitamins and its deficiency disease, one of the hot topic, right? Like these are the topics you are preparing for any government exam, any exam na competitive, you may get questions from all these topics, right? So now let's begin one by one, each one, right? So first of all, let us understand what do you mean by ecosystem, right? What are ecosystem? What do you mean by ecosystem, right? So guys, ecosystem is basically a functional unit of nature where living organisms interact with each other and their physical environment in a specific area. So like in the previous section, you have already learned what do you mean by functional unit, right? Like we have learned nephron is the functional unit of kidney, neuron is the functional unit of your nervous system. Again, cell is the functional unit of all the living organism. So this functional unit means what? Unit का मतलब क्या होता है? Single one. Okay, so you can say that when so many neurons cells combine together, they form a complete nervous system. When so many cells combine together, you will get a tissue, organ and organ system. So similarly, ecosystem is a functional unit of nature, right? So nature, if I'll talk about nature, that means what? Whatever the environment you are living, right? That is the nature, na? So ecosystem is the functional unit of a nature. Like suppose you are living in a pond. Suppose your house is inside the pond. So what happened? Pond is a part of nature and your residential area is in the pond. So that pond becomes the ecosystem of a particular living organism. So similarly, you can say that every living organism has their particular ecosystem, and these ecosystem is what? It is the functional unit of nature. When all these ecosystem combine together, the nature formed, right? Where living organisms interact with each other and their physical environment in a specific area. What does it mean? In ecosystem, it's not like we are only just living isolated, right? All the living organisms are interacting with each other. Na? Like you are interacting with other people, right? You are interacting with family, friends, shopkeepers and all. So again, not only the same species, you also interact with the dog, cats, you also interact with the plants. So when the living organism interact with each other, right? Everybody is interacting now. Bird lives on trees, right? They just prepare their nest over the tree. So this is what we call interaction, how we are related, how we are connected with each other, right? So in ecosystem, the living organisms are interconnected with each other. Apart from that, the living organisms also connect with the non-living objects. You can say that I am using this pen. So I am a living organism and I am using this non-living object, right? I am using this house. House is again made up of bricks and all, which is a non-living. So I am using this now. So again I am having an interaction with the non-living. So in case of ecosystem, ecosystem is a place where living beings interact with each other, as well as there is an interaction between living and non-living things also. Okay. It includes both biotic and abiotic component. So what happened, guys? Ecosystem includes both biotic and abiotic component. Biotic and abiotic means what? So now whatever the living organisms we are taking now, biotic means living organism. Abiotic non-living organism. So biotic component means what? When the living organism interact with each other, that all the living things is biotic component, right? And abiotic, all the non-living things are abiotic component. So you can also define ecosystem like it is an interaction between biotic and abiotic component. Simple. Okay, so biotic components, basically, since in case of biotic component we have all the living organisms, so living organisms may be your producers, right? Producers means like the plants, the trees, they are the producer. Now they prepare food for you for the with the help of photosynthesis. So they are the living ones. So you can say they are autotrophs, consumers, decomposers. So all the living organisms are biotic. Sunlight, air, water, temperature, soil, these are what? They are the abiotic components. Then energy flow in an ecosystem, right? So what does it mean? Energy flow in an ecosystem. Energy is what, guys? Energy, it's like a capacity of doing work you have learned in the physics, right? So now how these energy actually flows, right? From one, we all know that energy can never be created nor be destroyed. Energy can only be transferred from one place to another place. So when it transfer, it must have some direction. Now when it flow, it must have some direction. So here, energy flow in ecosystem, first of all try to understand trophic levels, right? So energy flow from one organism to another in a sequence known as food chain. Each level in the food chain is called trophic level. So basically, in case of ecosystem, the energy flow is nothing but the level of food chain. Have you learned, have you heard about food chain, like in the in your like smaller classes? You have learned about food chain, that one people eat other, then that people eat other, like one organism, like suppose if grasshopper eat grasses, then there are some organism which eats that grass. Suppose mouse eat grasshopper, then snake eat mouse, eagle eat snakes. So this is what? This is a food chain, like one is dependent on other. So similarly here, whatever the levels we have on the food chain, so like if the grasses, if we talk about a grass, grass is what? autotrophs, na, they are the producers, like they are the plants which photosynthesis and then prepare food. Then the grasshopper eaten those producers. So producers, that grasses becomes first level. Then grasshopper comes on the second level, primary consumer who directly consumes the grasses. Okay. So based on that, we have a certain levels on the food chain, like primary producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer. So producers like our plant and algae, they produces food, and then that plant eaten by herbivores, because we know that the major nutrient, like herbivores are the organisms which can take up their nutrient from the plants only, right? So now who is going to eat that plants? Obviously herbivores. So herbivores becomes the primary consumer. Then we have a secondary consumers like a carnivores. Carnivores are those on animal which can take their food like from herbivores. So carnivores becomes the third level. Again we have a top predators, like there are few organisms, few animals which eat other animal, like carnivores eat carnivores, right? So like that you can say. So they are the top predators, comes under the tertiary consumer. So these are what? These are the levels of trophic level. Okay. Then the energy flow, how the energy flow takes place, guys? Always the energy flow from primary producer to primary consumer to secondary consumer to tertiary consumer. तो जो एनर्जी का फ्लो होता है ना, वो इसी डायरेक्शन में होता है, ठीक है, ऐसे एनर्जी का फ्लो होता है. See, this is your डायग्राम. यहाँ पे क्या है, सन से लाइट आई. नाउ द प्लांट्स, द प्राइमरी प्रोड्यूसर uses that sunlight, produces food, right? And then what happened? Since plant uses that some energy, some amount of energy, the remaining amount of energy lost in the form of heat. Again, when the primary producers eat those plants, then the energy transferred from primary to producer to primary consumer. Again, some amount of heat lost from the primary consumer. Again, when the secondary consumer eat those primary one, again like the energy flow from here to here, but few energy lost also. Again, the energy flow from tertiary carnivore. So like this you can say that ki energy flow from primary, from producer to primary consumer, secondary and tertiary. Now here we have a energy loss, right? We have a energy loss. Now energy loss is what, guys? I think this will be okay now. I think this will be okay now. I'm very sorry for that. Okay. So, yes, what does it mean, guys? Ki energy loss is what? An energy moves from one trophic level to next. A significant amount is lost as heat. Only 10% of energy is passed to the next level, and this is what we call 10% energy loss. 10% एनर्जी रूल, राइट? यही है 10% एनर्जी रूल. व्हाट डज इट मीन? लाइक फ्रॉम द सन, प्लांट, like sun gives 100% its energy to plant. but plants utilizes only 10% of the sun's energy. Am I clear to everyone? So यहाँ पे plants ने sun से केवल 10% energy ही लिया. The remaining 90% energy is lost. So only it received 10% and 90% energy lost. ठीक है, सेम अगेन इस तरह से ये आगे बढ़ते जाएंगे. सो दिस इज व्हाट वी कॉल्ड एनर्जी लॉस. नाउ व्हाट इज एनर्जी पिरामिड गाइस? The amount of energy decreases as you go up the trophic level and the number of organisms decreases as well. So that is how you called as a energy pyramid. Like as you move in the trophic level from bottom to up, the energy utilizes also decreases, energy utilization also decreases, as well as the number of organisms also decreases. Like you can see here in the primary producer, there are lots of primary producer, then lesser than consumer, then secondary, then tertiary will be the very less one. So you can say that as you move up, the energy also lost, and you can say that the number of organism also lost. So this is about food chain and food web. Food chain is what? Linear sequence of organisms like grass, grasshopper, frog, snake and eagle. So this is a linear chain. Food chain is what? It is a linear chain, or you can say linear sequences of organisms in the trophic level, right? Like these are the plants and the deer, plants eaten by the deer, deer eaten by the wolf, wolf eaten again, wolf decomposed by the decomposer, right? Now what are your food web? Food web is the interconnected chain forming a network. So here in this chain, what you can see that it's not like ki, wolf eat plant, wolf also eat plant, or deer eat wolf. It's not like that, na? It's a sequence, linear sequence. In food web, see here what happened. Again we have a plants. This plant is eaten by grasshopper, okay? Grasshopper eaten by bird, bird eaten by fox, fox eaten by, so here what you can say, this bird again eaten by eagle, right? Also we have a squirrel, this plant eaten by squirrel, again this squirrel is also eaten by the bird, okay? So what you can say that ki this squirrel also eaten by bird, this squirrel also eaten by the fox. Now bird eaten by fox as well as eagle both. Again grasshopper eaten by squirrel also, and grass is eaten by this. So they all are interconnected with each other. Then we have ecological pyramid. So based on that, there is a ecological pyramids. पिरामिड समझ में आ गया ना, वो जो इजिप्ट में पिरामिड होता है ना, वो वही शेप पिरामिड की बात हो रही है. दैट इज द शेप ऑफ एनर्जी फ्लो ओनली. Okay, so based on that we have a 3 types of energy pyramid: pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, pyramid of energy, right? So we have 3 types of energy pyramid. Pyramid of number shows the number of organism at each trophic level. So always, like suppose you will have this type of pyramid. ठीक है, सपोज आपको एक ऐसा पिरामिड मिलता है. सो दिस पिरामिड विल शो दैट एट द बॉटम यू हैव अ लार्जेस्ट नंबर ऑफ ऑर्गेनिज्म, then the second level, then the third, then the fourth level, like this. Okay, so always this energy of number shows the number of organisms in the pyramids. Similarly, pyramid of biomass represent the total mass of living material at the trophic level. Like suppose it like यहाँ पे ना हम ऑर्गेनिज्म के मास की बात करते हैं, ठीक है. लाइक इन केस ऑफ लैंड और टेरेस्ट्रियल we have a lots of producers ना, trees and plants सबसे ज्यादा है. So they have a higher biomass. तो अगेन वो हमारे नीचे आएंगे, देन उनके ऊपर प्राइमरी प्रोड्यूसर, प्राइमरी कंज्यूमर, देन सेकेंडरी, देन टर्शियरी, ऐसे आएंगे. सो नाउ इफ the biomass, if the pyramid formed according to the biomass of organism, that pyramid is called biomass of pyramid. Right. Then we have pyramid of energy, depicts the total energy at each trophic level. So what does it mean? It means that based on the energy, that how much energy that trophic level is having, right? Based on that we have a pyramid. So like this, sometimes we will get upright pyramid, sometimes we will get inverted pyramid, depending upon the number, depending upon the biomass, depending upon the energy flow. Then we have a different types of ecosystem. So as I told you that ecosystem is nothing but the unit of functional unit of a nature, that means where the biotic and abiotic components interact. So in like that we have a different types of ecosystem, like we have a terrestrial ecosystem, we have a aquatic ecosystem. Okay, so in the terrestrial ecosystem means all the ecosystems we have on lands. तो land पर जितने भी ecosystem है, right, based on, not, we are not talking about water, aquatic, we are just talking about land. So over the land, what type of ecosystems you have is forest ecosystem. So like the organism lives in the forest, so this type of ecosystem is a very dense vegetation, right? Then including tropical, temperate and boreal forest. So basically you all know about the forest, right? They have a wide range of organism, trees, animals. Now based on their like amount of sunlight and the organisms, again the forests are divided into different categories. So basically they have a very dense vegetations, and they include temperate, tropical and arboreal forest. These are the types of forest. Okay. Then we have desert ecosystem. Desert ecosystem again like low rainfall, sparse vegetation and unique adaptation to conserve water. So what you can say that then desert ecosystem, like or whatever the organisms in the desert area. Okay, so there they have a desert ecosystem where you have very low amount of rainfall, they have a very less vegetations, and yes, they also adapt a unique feature to conserve water within the body, because since they have a very less rainfall, groundwater is very less, no sunlight is very very high intensity. So how to conserve their water, that they have their adaptation, like the plants like cactus. Okay, within the leaves become swollen and leaves changes into a cuticle, so that number of stomata becomes less and the transpiration rate come ho jaye. Then we have grassland ecosystem. Grassland ecosystem dominated by grasses, right, with seasonal rain, often home to large herbivores. So grasslands, like whatever the grasslands we have, now they have all the grasses, seasonal rains takes place, and most of the herbivores lives over the grasslands only. Mountain ecosystem varies with altitude, temperature and vegetation. So again we have a mountain ecosystem, like the organisms who live in the mountains, there the altitude varies with the temperature, and they have a different temperature, they have different types of vegetation. So this is what we call terrestrial ecosystem. Then another important is your aquatic ecosystem, that is the ecosystem found in water. Under the aquatic we have two types of ecosystem, marine and the freshwater. Marine ecosystem includes your ocean, coral reefs, estuaries with higher salinity, whereas freshwater ecosystem includes lakes, river, ponds with low salinity. So like the fresh water, we have river, pond, na, within the in that river, pond, right, whatever the organisms we are found, they have a fresh, they are considered as a freshwater ecosystem. Again, oceans are the marine ecosystem. So these are basically the types of ecosystem. So you should know these basics. Okay. Now we have another important topic, that is microorganisms in human welfare. Okay, so like microorganism, first of all you should understand what do you mean by microorganism. So microorganisms, like they are the organisms which are very microscopic, as well as the organisms are of two types. One which causes disease, other which do not cause disease. ठीक है, दो टाइप के होते हैं, वन विल कॉज डिजीज, अनदर विल नॉट कॉज अ डिजीज. सो नाउ द माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स विच आर नॉट कॉजिंग अ डिजीज, राइट, they can be utilized in our day to day life. The microorganism which causes disease considered as a pathogen as well. Okay, so now here microorganisms in human welfare, let us see how these microorganisms uses in our day to day life. So number one, like we have microorganisms into like the bacteria, virus, fungus, these are the microorganisms na. So let us see how few bacteria helps us. The bacteria usually rhizobium, azotobacter, right, they helps in the nitrogen fixation process. So usually na, like in our atmosphere we have 78% nitrogen, but like our plants are not able to absorb that nitrogen directly. Okay, so it has to convert into its nitrate form. So now the conversion of nitrogen into nitrate is called nitrogen fixation, which takes place in a various steps. Few microorganisms involved in that, like our rhizobium, azotobacter, so they help in the nitrogen fixation process. Okay, again sewage treatment. So we have a bacteria like pseudomonas which is used in a sewage treatment. What is sewage treatment, guys? Decomposition of organic matter in wastewater. So whatever the organic matter we have in the, like in suppose in your house you have your kitchen waste. In the kitchen waste, what you have, all your vegetables like cover and all those na. Again there you have in the waste, like whatever the organic waste you have. Organic waste means the waste which can be decomposed. I'm not talking about the plastic and others. The waste which are decomposed considered as organic waste. So now whatever the waste are flowing in the water from your house, from everyone house, they all become sewage. Okay, now those organic matter, it's not like they are decomposed by themselves. Okay, for that microorganisms required. And which microorganisms required? Pseudomonas. So like you have to remember these organisms name and their function, like where they are used. Directly in your exam you may get a question like which organism uses to in the sewage treatment process. Similarly, we have organisms like lactobacillus, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, right? So these are the organisms which uses for the production of food and beverages. So for the production of food, beverages, like we have organism lactobacillus, Saccharomyces cerevisiae. They are used in the formation of beverages as well as whatever the household food we are using, like idli, dosa. There we can use these microorganisms. Bacillus, again a bacteria, and it is used for the biodegradation. So just try to note down the name and their function. Again, fungus, if you talk about a fungus, we have a very important fungus like penicillium, right? Penicillium, basically the name of the fungus is Penicillium notatum. The full name is Penicillium notatum. Now this Penicillium notatum used in the penicillin production, like the production of antibiotics, right? Now what are antibiotics, guys? Antibiotics basically you can say that the medicines which will kill bacteria, the medicines which kills the kills the infection like bacterial cells or prevent the bacterial infection, they are the antibiotics. So the very first antibiotic is made by Alexander Fleming, and he just extract medicine penicillin from the fungus Penicillium notatum. Okay, so it is used in the production of antibiotics. Then Saccharomyces cerevisiae, fermentation of alcohol. Then we have an algae like chlorella. The name of algae is chlorella, and this is used in the oxygen production. Then we have an algae Glaciolaria, used in the food production, like the agar solidifying agent in microbiology media. Agar is what? It is a nutrient media in the microbiology lab. Like if you want to grow any microorganisms like artificially, so you have to prepare a nutrient media from that. Okay, so Glaciolaria can be used as a agar. Then we have streptomyces, and the streptomyces used in the production of again antibiotics. So we have streptomyces like streptomycin, tetracycline, erythromycin. These are what? These are the antibiotics produced by the streptomyces, which is actinomycetes. Then yes, few viruses are also very helpful like bacteriophages. So they are used in the phage therapy, used in the treating bacterial infection. Okay, trichoderma, again the trichoderma is a protozoa which is used in the biological control pest agriculture. Anabaena nostoc, again organism which is used in a nitrogen fixation. It is a blue green algae, cyanobacteria. Okay, so these are some of the microorganisms list. I'll just prepare it in the form of list because कि directly आपको यहाँ से नाम और उनके organisms मिल जाए, right? Just try to note it down, try to memorize all those. Then we have diseases causes by microorganisms, right? So now see, earlier you have learned how the microorganisms are dangerous for our life, right? How the microorganisms causes disease to our life. Now we have a microorganisms which cause how the microorganism helps in our life in the previous section. Here you are going to learn how the microorganism causes disease to our life. Okay, so like now here you may get questions related to like directly they will ask you any disease caused by which pathogen, right? What are pathogens actually? Okay, so pathogens are actually disease causing microorganism, right? And here we have a pathogen like bacteria, virus, फंगस, प्रोटोजोआ, इनको हम पैथोजन कहते हैं. ठीक है, नाउ जो क्वेश्चन आपको पूछा जाएगा, either they will ask you a disease name and they will ask like suppose cholera, so they will give you 4 options, like which pathogen is responsible to cause particular disease. Cholera. Okay, so you should remember it like bacteria. Bacteria is the microorganisms or pathogen which causes cholera. Okay, the second type of question they will ask you like what are the mode of transmission and like how, what are their symptoms and like what are their positive agents also. So if we talk about cholera, so Vibrio cholerae. Okay, Vibrio cholerae causes what? Typhoid, cholera. Similarly, tuberculosis caused by Mycobacterium tuberculei. Okay, tuberculei. So these causes tuberculosis. Typhoid causes by Salmonella. Okay, diphtheria caused by Clostridium diphtheria. Similarly, tetanus caused by your Clostridium tetani. Okay, so like this, the organisms you have to remember. Also, you have to remember their mode of transmissions, like how they are transmitted, like TB from airborne, from coughing, sneezing, contaminated food and water, like cholera. Contaminated food and water means what? If the food and water is having the microorganism, that food and water considered as a contaminated food and water. Okay, so you can get it from there. Then we have a like airborne. Airborne means like when you sneeze, the organisms comes out from your body in the form of air droplet. So that is what we call contaminated air droplet, and the symptoms are given. So basically symptoms are common. Usually they will ask you a questions related to their causative agents, like which bacteria causes cholera, which bacteria causes typhoid and all. Okay. Similarly, we have a AIDS. So AIDS caused by HIV virus, human immunovirus. Influenza causes by various influenza virus. Hepatitis virus. Chicken pox causes by varicella zoster. Varicella zoster. Dengue caused by dengue virus, right? And like what are their mode of transmission? So HIV directly transmitted due to sexual contact, influenza airborne droplet, hepatitis sexual contact, chickenpox airborne, dengue via mosquito. And which mosquito is responsible? Aedes aegypti. Aedes mosquito is responsible for that. Then let's talk about a fungus, guys. So among the fungus we have a athlete foot, right? And again we have a ringworm, candidiasis. These are the disease caused by a fungus and how they are transmitted. Protozoa, like malaria is a disease caused by a malaria plasmodium, right? Plasmodium carried by the female Anopheles mosquito and causes malaria. Similarly, we have amoebiasis, which is also known as amoebic dysentery, protozoan disease. Giardiasis is a protozoan disease, right? Ascariasis, hookworm, filarial worm is a helminthes worm, you can say causes by the worms or helminthic disease, and their mode of transmission, filaria, is also called as elephantiasis and transmitted by mosquito bite. So it is given in the list form, just try to remember that. Okay, then we have a vitamin and its diseases. See, you can get it from here also, like you can go from the notes, like whatever the Drishti provided you, like books and all. Again, like if you have no any book, then you can also refer the Lucent General Science. From the Lucent General Science also you will get health and disease topic, like health and disease notes. Just go through the causative agents and their mode of transmission, that's it. Okay, now let's understand about the vitamins and its deficiency. So guys, if you talk about a vitamin, what is vitamin actually? Vitamins are basically the the organic nutrient, right? They are the organic matter only, or you can say organic compounds. Why? Because vitamin is also, you will get it from the natural sources. ठीक है, तो विटामिन्स आपको कहाँ से मिलता है? नेचर से ही मिलता है. फ्रॉम द फूड एंड द एनिमल्स you will get a vitamin, right? Now, these vitamins are not synthesized in our body. It's not like all the vitamins synthesized in our body and no need to take it from outside. ऐसा नहीं है. We have to take vitamins from outside. There are only very few vitamins like vitamin D, vitamin H synthesized in our body. Otherwise, all the vitamins we have to take those vitamins from outside. Okay. So now the vitamins based on their solubility categorized as fat soluble and water soluble vitamin. Okay, fat soluble vitamins are those which are not soluble in water and only soluble in the fat. Similarly, water soluble vitamins are those vitamins which are not soluble in fat and only soluble in water. So based on that, vitamins are categorized based on the solubility. They are categorized as water and fat soluble. Again, whatever the vitamins are, the water soluble, okay, they replenish every day from your body. ठीक है, हर दिन हमारे बॉडी से वाटर soluble vitamins बाहर निकल जाते हैं in the form of urine. Okay, but the fat soluble vitamins are not, since they are not soluble in water, so they are not going to be dissolved in the plasma, blood plasma, and they are not going to be filtered out. So these vitamins are stored in our liver, and whenever our body required, they utilizes that. So just try to remember this point. Fat soluble vitamins do not replenish every day, okay, but water soluble vitamin replenish every day. So you need to take water soluble vitamins every day. Now what are the vitamins category, like which comes under fat soluble and water soluble? So here, like the fat soluble vitamins are your A, D, E, K, right? All the vitamins A, D, E, K. A, D, E, K. You can also name, remember like Kida. Okay. Again, water soluble vitamin. Water soluble vitamin is what? Vitamin B and vitamin C, right? So vitamin B and vitamin C are the water soluble vitamin. All the family of vitamin B is the water soluble, right? Now let us see vitamin and its deficiency diseases. So here we have vitamin A, okay. The scientific name of vitamin A is retinol, okay, which is nothing but the beta carotene. You can say that ki retinol formed from beta carotene, and the source of beta carotene is what? Carrot. From the carrot you will get this beta carotene, okay, which convert into a vitamin A. So vitamin A is what? First, though, it is fat soluble vitamin, scientific name retinol. Then if you have a deficiency of vitamin A, then you are going to suffer with the night blindness and xerophthalmia. Night blindness means you are not able to see the things clearly in the night. ठीक है, आपको blurry दिखेगा. Again, sources liver, carrot, spinach, sweet potato, egg yolk and all. Then we have vitamin B1. This is what? Water soluble, and the B member family. B1 is water soluble, scientifically named as thiamine, disease caused by beriberi, okay, and the sources. So all the vegetables we are eating every day, now all the fruits, vegetable, whatever the food we are eating, everywhere you will get vitamin B. B2 is riboflavin, okay. Disease deficiency causes araboflavinosis and angular stomatis. Then we have vitamin B3 causes niacin, and like scientific name is niacin, and causes pellagra. Deficiency causes pellagra. Vitamin B5 is a pantothenic acid, and the deficiency disease is fatigue, digestive problems, right? So from the chicken, beef, potato, oats, tomato, whole grains, you can get this vitamin B5. So from these vitamins now, what kind of question you will get? Either they will ask you to categorize in fat and water soluble, okay, whether they are fat soluble or water soluble. Then they may ask you ki what are the scientific name of vitamin B5, scientific name of B3, okay. Then they may ask you what are the deficiency diseases they cause. If you have a deficiency of vitamin B3, so which disease occur? Pellagra. So mostly they will ask you about pellagra, beriberi, okay. Then we have B6, which is pyridoxine, B6 called as pyridoxine, and the disease caused anemia, okay. Anemia, peripheral neuropathy. So you can also get the brain related disease, nervous system related disease. Also you will get the anemia. Anemia is what? Like the deficiency of hemoglobin in your RBC. That is the anemia. Then we have B7, Vitamin B7 causes biotine, like the scientific name is biotine, and diseases cause like loss of hair, skin rashes, brittle nails. These means that you have a deficiency of B7. Then we have B9. B9 is folate or folic acid, okay, and disease cause neural tube defect, anemia. B12 cobalamin, okay, and this B12 cobalamin, due to deficiency of B12 you will get pernicious anemia. Nerve damage. Vitamin B, C, ascorbic acid, vitamin D, then you call it calciferol, right? So vitamin C is again water soluble. Till here you have all the water soluble, all are water soluble. Try to remember their scientific name. C causes scurvy, okay. Vitamin D, calciferol. Now V, D, E and K, all these are what? All these are your fat soluble vitamin. Now vitamin D, calciferol, in case of children deficiency causes rickets. Rickets में क्या होता है कि जो legs होते हैं ना वो ऐसे bow shape हो जाते हैं, okay, and the adults get a disease called osteomalacia. That means they have a pores in their bone. The bone becomes very weak, very fragile. Then we have a tocopherol, vitamin E, and causes anemia, again a type of anemia. Muscle weakness. Vitamin K, your phylloquinone, causes like deficiency. Due to the deficiency, the blood related disease, the clotting affects, the blood do not get clot. So these are some of the vitamins and their deficiency diseases, their sources. So from the sources rarely you will get a question, but mostly you will get questions like from their whether they are water and fat soluble, second their scientific name, and third like what are the deficiency diseases. So one question definitely you will get it from this topic, okay. Then again we have some nutrient and their due to that deficiency symptoms and sources. So nutrients, like we all know, we have carbohydrate, protein, fats, right, and these are the important nutrient. So due to the deficiency of carbohydrate, we all know that carbohydrate provides the instant source of energy, right. Carbohydrate is what? It is the instant source of energy. Like you have heard about glucose. So जैसे ही आप glucose लेते हैं आपको energy मिलती है. Why? Because their metabolism rate is very high, very simple compound, very easily metabolized. Okay. So if you have a deficiency of carbohydrate, that means you become hypoglycemic. You have a very less sugar in your blood. So that is called low blood sugar. In that case, you feel weak, डिजीनेस, चक्कर आने लगता है, कंफ्यूजन, कुछ समझ नहीं आता है, आप बेहोश हो जाते हैं, फैटीग हो जाते हैं. तो दैट मीन्स कि ब्लड शुगर लेवल इज वेरी डाउन. Then we have sources of carbohydrate like rice, bread, pasta, potato, fruits and vegetable. So all these are the sources of carbohydrates. You all know what are the carbohydrates made up of carbon and water. C6H12 glucose is the simplest carbohydrate. Then we have polysaccharides like starch, cellulose, glycogen. They are the carbohydrates which you stored in our body as a food, reserve food material as well, okay. Then another nutrient we have a protein, and the protein deficiency, you all know that protein is the building block of organism. ठीक है, प्रोटीन से ही organisms की बनते हैं. Why it is so? Because if you have learned the cell na, the cell membrane is made up of lipids and protein. So protein is one of the major constituent, right? And also you can say that ki since the cells forms an organism, cell is the functional unit, so protein is the building block of, like whatever the muscles and all the people is having building na, they all due to the proteins only, okay. Now the person having deficiency of protein causes by two types of disease, kwashiorkor and marasmus. Okay, in kwashiorkor what happened? They have a swollen belly, stunted growth, muscle wasting, इरिटेबिलिटी, राइट। तो ये सारे डिजीज कब आते हैं? प्रोटीन क्वाशियोरकर, राइट। लाइक वी हैव अ सोलन बेली, जब क्वाशियोरकर होता है ना बच्चों में, तो उनकी जो पेट है वो बहुत ज्यादा निकल जाते हैं, सोलन बेली, हाइट छोटी हो जाती है, मसल बहुत वीक हो जाते हैं, हैंड और लेग के मसल्स बहुत पतले होते हैं। देन मरासमस में क्या होता है? वेट लॉस हो जाता है, सीवियर मरासमस में एकदम कुपोषित, लाइक बोन्स दिखने लग जाते हैं, इतना वीक हो जाता है, मसल्स वेस्ट, ड्राई स्किन, स्टंटेड ग्रोथ तो होंगे ही। डिफरेंस क्या है दोनों मरासमस एंड क्वाशियोरकर? बोथ विल कॉजेस ड्यू टू द डिफिशियंसी ऑफ प्रोटीन। इन क्वाशियोरकर द बेली becomes very big, and in marasmus the person become very weak. Fat, essential fatty acids like eczema, poor wound, healing brittle hair, all these are the deficiency symptoms caused by fat. Okay, so these are some of the nutrients and their deficiency chart. So just try to go through all these topics. Okay, I have told you the books, like if you have a Drishti material, that is very good, right? And if not, you can go for Lucent for these chart. Otherwise I have provided already. Just go through it once and you are able to solve all the general science courses for GAT. So with this we are end up your general science GAT courses, right? And all the best for your exam, guys. Take care. Bye bye.